Friends, good morning. Those of you who are parents with teenage kids, this gospel, I'm sure, just strikes a chord. Go clean your room. Sure, didn't do it. Anyway, I want to say a word about this first reading we have today. This really beautiful reading about this faithful remnant that Zephaniah he speaks about. And I want to talk about that remnant as the church that Jesus founded. And to do that, I want to share the thoughts of one of the brightest minds our church has been blessed to have in the last many centuries, right? So he became Pope Benedict XVI in 2005, but back in 1969, he was still just Father Joseph Ratzinger. And he delivered this over a German radio broadcast, and this is what he said. If I had anything better to say, I would say my thoughts, but you can't beat Joseph Ratzinger. So this is what he says about the faithful remnant, the church. The future of the church, once again, as always, will be reshaped by saints, by men and women, that is, whose minds probe deeper than the slogans of the day, who see more than others see because their lives embrace a wider reality. Unselfishness, which makes men free, is attained only through the patience of small daily acts of self-denial. By this daily passion, which alone reveals to a man how many ways he is enslaved by his own ego, by this daily passion and by it alone, a man's eyes are slowly opened. He sees only to the extent that he has lived and suffered. If today we are scarcely able any longer to become aware of God, that is because we find it so easy to evade ourselves, to flee from the depths of our being by means of the narcotic of some pleasure or other. Thus, our own interior depths remain closed to us. If it is true that a man can see only with his heart, then how blind we are. What will remain is the church of Jesus Christ, the church that believes in the God who has become man and promises us life beyond death. The kind of priest who is no more than a social worker can be replaced by the psychotherapist and other specialists. But the priest who is no specialist, who does not stand on the sidelines watching the game, giving official advice, but in the name of God places himself at the disposal of man, who is beside them in their sorrows, in their joys, in their hope, and in their fear, such a priest will certainly be needed in the future. Let us go a step farther. From the crisis of today, the church of tomorrow will emerge, a church that has lost much. She will become small and will have to start afresh, more or less from the beginning. She will no longer be able to inhabit many of the edifices she built in prosperity. As the number of her adherents diminishes, so it will lose many of her social privileges. In contrast to an earlier age, it will be seen much more as a voluntary society, entered only by free decision. As a small society, it will make much bigger demands on the initiative of her individual members. But in all of the changes at which one might guess, the church will find her essence afresh and with full conviction in that which was always at her center: faith in the triune God, in Jesus Christ, the Son of God made man, in the presence of the Spirit until the end of the world. In faith and prayer, she will again recognize the sacraments as the worship of God and not as a subject for liturgical scholarship. The church will be a more spiritual church. It will be hard going for the church, for the process of crystallization and clarification will cost her much valuable energy. It will make her poor and cause her to become the church of the meek. The process will be all the more arduous, for sectarian narrow-mindedness as well as pompous self-will will have to be shed. One may predict that all of this will take time. The process will be long and wearisome, as was the road from the false progressivism on the eve of the French Revolution, when a bishop might be thought smart if he made fun of dogmas and even insinuated that the existence of God was by no means certain, to the renewal of the 19th century. But when the trial of this sifting is past, a great power will flow from a more spiritualized and simplified church. Men and women living in a totally planned world will find themselves unspeakably lonely. If they have completely lost sight of God, they will feel the whole horror of their poverty. Then they will discover the little flock of believers as something wholly new. They will discover it as a hope that is meant for them, an answer for which they have always been searching in secret. And so it seems certain to me that the church is facing very hard times. The real crisis has scarcely begun. We will have to count on terrific upheavals, but I am equally certain about what will remain at the end. Not the church of the political cult, which is dead already, but the church of faith. It may well no longer be the dominant social power to the extent that she was until recently, but it will enjoy a fresh blossoming and be seen as man's home, where he will find life and hope beyond death. This faithful remnant, right? The little flock of believers, man's home. May that be what we are here at this parish. Amen.